Hey guys, I wasn't planning on doing another vlog until the weekend, but this story broke today that just made me laugh so much. Bethesda is not going to provide pre-release copies of their games anymore to journalists. Like, full stop. That's the end of the story, and it's not April 1st. I checked. It's actually October. Press reviews, you can't tell which way they're going to go. That might talk people out of their pre-orders, and you don't want that because unfortunately the video game industry has got this culture of get people to pre-order, make sure they don't find out your game is garbage, and make a lot of money. That's how the industry works. What made me laugh the most about this story was just musing on it and just thinking, there's a PR firm out there or that works for Bethesda somewhere, right? Where someone went to university for 3 years, got their degree, and a board of directors came to them and went, all right, we've got this thing that is absolutely terrible for consumers. Can you spin this in some kind of positive light that makes it seem like we're doing something positive? And that person walked away, probably had a couple of weeks as well to think about this, and the best they could come up with was, we want to make sure that customers and the press will play this at the same time. Yeah, that sounds good, see? Yeah, at the same time. It almost sounds like early access, doesn't it? You're playing it before the press can ruin it for you. There is an argument for this that makes sense, all right? Which is day one patches. And people, the video game industry and the way video games are made and distributed now is very different to the way it was when that kind of standard for sending out early release, copies of the game to the press kind of came about, right? In the instance of something like No Man's Sky, where it's hey, the majority, we had this big lead time between when we had to submit the game for certification to Sony or Microsoft, and then when the game actually came out and was released to the public, right? And in that time, it's 6 weeks sometimes, we're just sitting around doing nothing. We may as well keep working on the game. We can squash some bugs. We can do that kind of stuff, and that's cool. It sucks that you have to do this certification stuff, but at the same time, it's look, if it has to be done, can we at least use that time for something constructive? That's fine, right? Unfortunately, it's mutated into this now where it's oh, see, it's for the consumer. We can't give review copies early because they'll review buggy games or something, or they'll review it with some of the content missing because we're still building it right up until day one. But that's not the argument they're using here, and that argument doesn't make sense in this context. Skyrim Enhanced Edition, or whatever the fuck it's called, has been given to YouTubers up to 2 weeks in advance. That game has been given to YouTubers, so it's finished. They're not squashing bugs. They're not doing anything. They're giving it to YouTubers who, if you have bugs in your game, are the worst people to give the game to. So you know that game is fucking done and finished and gold as shit. Clearly, this is Bethesda just going, hey, you know what? We really don't like the fact that when we get reviews for games or there's any, basically just reviews will just cause people to cancel their pre-orders, right? We don't like that. What we do like, though, is people hyping the shit out of our games beforehand. So we'll give it to the YouTubers, and we'll probably bend a few rules here and there, and we'll make sure that, preview copies get out to the press that we like, and we haven't blacklisted and things. So it's just all marketing spin. It's all bullshit. So many people are talking about how completely ludicrous this is. But I want to play devil's advocate. I want to say how this could turn into a good thing. Games journalism generally is pretty cancerous, all right? You get these big sites that make money off ad revenue, right? Who advertises on a video game site? Video game companies, right? People will talk about this site or that site has been paid for a good review. They don't get paid for reviews. Why would you pay for a review? If you're a game publisher, you know that the only people working at these sites, the people that those sites want to hire are people with electric personalities that are going to hype up games and that are going to say quotable things and seem really relatable to the people who read the site. That's going to bring people back to the site over and over and over, right? If you get someone who writes a negative preview about a game, yeah, so I played, Joe Bloggs Simulator 3, and, it's all right. But I can pretty much tell that it's not going to be very good when it comes out. If you read that in a preview, are you going to go back and read the review? No, of course you're not going to go back and read the review. You're going to be yeah, well, it doesn't sound very good. I'm not interested. Bad press doesn't get people to come back to your site. And this is the press talking, right? You get someone to just be constantly go, oh, we're tentatively excited about this, cautiously optimistic about this game, because you want people to come back and keep coming back. Just look at No Man's Sky, right? The fact that you can write anything on any of these sites, right? And just write No Man's Sky in the title, that got fucking tons of clicks. So you want people on those sites to build hype, and then that way more people are going to come and click more stories and give you more ad revenue. Because that's the thing, everyone's talking about this like, oh, it's this terrible thing, we're not going to be able to give objective reviews at the right time. People aren't going to be able to make informed purchasing decisions. No, they are. They are. All right. If you pre-order games, you're an idiot. If you have to buy a game day one, like you can't wait a couple of days, then you're going to buy that game regardless of whether it gets good reviews. If you're that excited about something, right? So a normal person doesn't mind waiting a couple of days and isn't going to pre-order a game, right? So it's like by the time the review of Skyrim rolls around, yeah, okay, I'll read the review on whatever website and be like, oh yeah, cool, it seems cool, I'll go and buy that game. So this isn't going to affect the consumer, the consumer that should give a shit. What it does affect is these big gaming websites being able to say, hey, we've got the first review before anyone else. We've got an exclusive. Our review went up at 12:01. That's what it is. And it's affecting these big websites' bottom line because suddenly their ad revenue goes down. If they're not getting these reviews earlier than the other websites, people are going to go to other websites. People are going to go to these YouTubers that got Skyrim early and they're just going to watch them. All right? So it's not actually about, don't be fooled, it's not actually about like, oh, we want you to have like informed purchasing decisions. I mean, yeah, that's good, right? But the big websites that are complaining about this, that actually get these games early, i.e. websites that always give good reviews to these kind of games anyway, because, that's their bread and butter, they're the ones complaining about it and they're the ones who are going to lose out. So these little sites who are already blacklisted by Bethesda and don't get these games early, it doesn't affect them. Because they won't, it doesn't do anything, right? They already put their review out way later. So the only people it affects is these big sites that are just going to hype the shit out of these games regardless of whether they're good. I think it's good. These sites should be pissed off about it. I honestly think they do believe that this is a thing about journalism. And they want to get these games early and give people informed purchasing decisions. Look, guys, harness that. Harness how pissed off you are about this. And you know what you need to do? Stop hyping their games. Stop doing previews. If something sucks, either straight up come out and say it sucks, or just don't write about it. Get yourself blacklisted. I know that sounds ridiculous. If every single website, if this was a blanket thing and every website was essentially blacklisted and couldn't write about games before they played them and before they came out to the public, then it wouldn't be a problem.